Hello and welcome to another episode of Honest Tumor with myself, Duncan Donuts, and Mike, aka Tupert.
Hello.
Hello. And we are just discussing how it's going to be a challenge to get through this summer. Today, the weather has just started to get to about 27 degrees and it's already way too hot to be sat doing a podcast. So dig in with us. Hopefully you're cooler when you're listening to this. Mike, what is the name of the episode today, my friend?
So we are episode 93 and it is Dalmore, Bling and Auction Sin.
We've been hobnobbing with the high-end fashion influencers, haven't we?
We have indeed.
Sad thing is there wasn't any hobnobs, to be fair.
No hobnobs in sight. Plenty of good little snacks coming around though.
Yeah, canapes, yeah.
Oh,
Imagine if there'd been some little mini hobnobs as the canapes, that'd have been great. So we had a lovely time out, so we're going to go through that. We're also going to discuss Brave New Spirits. We did an exceptional tasting of Brave New Spirits. This is a whiskey, an independent bottler, which I really rate, and yet, to be honest, I don't really buy much of. And I'm starting to look in the mirror, and say to myself, what are you doing, Duncan? Why are you not getting more Brave New Spirit bottles?
well, I think we've said it previously. I'm like, I just haven't bought any, but it's nothing against them. There's just so much whiskey out there. It's just trying to narrow down to things.
They came along at a point when my cupboards were already very full. And also, I think their bottles are so good. We're getting into it too much now, but I think their bottles are pretty much so good. No one sends them to auction.
True.
You don't see many of them at auction.
Yeah.
They're just all getting drunk at people's homes. So
which is where I'm buying stuff at the moment.
Exactly.
So,
and that brings us through. So we're going to be recanting our night out with the Dalmore.
Yep.
And the launch of Luminary 3. And we're discussing a bit of Auction Sin and Brave New Spirits. So without further ado, what has been in your glass and what has been up your arse?
What's been in my glass is copious amounts of Brave New Spirits.
Oh.
So, just diving straight into the tasting because why not? So we got sent, along with a load of other people on Twitter, or X as it now is.
And Blue Sky, they do 2 tastings now.
Do they really?
As I told you, for the lefties and the people on the right. And also the people who don't care and on both. All right? That's me.
Oh, I'm still on fucking MySpace waiting for my invite, but hey. So we got into a Cask Masters series. That's all of them are Cask Masters. Royal Brackler 12. We then got into a North British 13-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
We then did Glen Elgin 12-year-old.
Oh, which was toasted tawny port, that one. First fill.
Yeah.
They're all first fill, I think.
And then the last one was Inchgower 8.
You're underselling the Inchgower because whilst it was an 8-year-old, it was first fill Chateau Talbot Barrique, which is a very expensive wine. And that's
presenting to light wine again?
Yeah, I am. I am. So I do like a good wine. And so when I see these, I'll often check and see what wine is it they've put in there. And that wine itself, quite high end, it can't have been cheap casks, right? Unless someone's, knows somebody.
Nice.
Exactly. So you say wine cask, but there are differences in wine cask. There's wine that can impart more flavour and wine that can impart less flavour, right?
Yeah. I mean, everything should be in Rioja and sack everything else off is what I've established.
Yeah, to get the tobacco and cherry notes, yeah. At least we're getting there with that understanding, aren't we? Like Rioja, tobacco, cherry, boom.
I mean, I don't know why anyone bothers with any other wine cask.
Vanilla, tobacco, cherry. Boom.
Apart from obviously the Inchgower.
but apart from these. So let's go through. So which ones did you really like?
Really liked the Dram one. Fantastic, which is the Royal Brackler. Don't see Royal Brackler that often.
That was the Pinot Blanc.
As in Indy. Pinot Blanc. Nice. Nose, super juicy, fresh orange juice, orange chewits, honey, barley, lime, vanilla, toffee cheesecake, and then palate, forest fruit cheesecake, barrel char, ginger, toffee crisp, and cherry drops. Just all work so well together. I put mega. Well happy.
We had pretty much wildly different tasting notes. So I said it was mineralic on the nose, limestone, juicy ripe peach, vanilla cheesecake, base, biscuity, hint of green apple, chalk, green grapes, and twigs. Weird tasting, weird nosing note, yeah. And then palate, I said it was light and fruity, juicy peach, a little spice, mineralic, little bit of chili heat, crisp green apples, white pepper, and finished mineralic chalk. So it's slightly different. So tell me again what the different ones you got there. But overall, there was a lot going on, wasn't there?
Loads going on.
I will go through the North British Sherry Butt. Okay, 13-year-old. Yep. So I was like, 13 years old for a North British, 50%. Second fill. And immediately on the nose, I got raisins, toffee, Turkish delight, figs, flat cola, vanilla.
Yep.
And then on the palate, I got like black liquor, like really black licorice. Turkish Delight again, burnt butter popcorn. And it kind of followed through into the finish with black licorice, Turkish Delight, and ginseng tea like you would get in South Korea. And it reminded me of kind of being in like a tea shop or something. I thought that was a fascinating whiskey for a sherry butt. Didn't taste too grainy.
No, I think I said nose straight off, no glue. Because
you've got no clue. That's what was that? Which one did you say?
It's always the danger with grain that you just get overpowered with like glue, quite frankly, on some of them. And I didn't get any of that at all.
Yeah.
Apple pie, custard, marshmallow, squirty cream or squishy cream if you're Stuart Dick. Yeah. Cinnamon raisin bagel, great nose. And then I said on the palate, chocolate, nougat, pencil shavings, rum raisin ice cream, ginger, oak spice. And I said gingerbread man for days.
Gingerbread man for days. Interesting. But not too, same ballpark, different tasting notes, but overall a very nice whiskey. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I liked all of them. That's the problem, isn't it? They were all very good. The third one was the First Fill Toasted Tawny Port. 12-year-old Glenelgan. What did you get on the nose and palate for that one? What did you think of that one?
Nose, I said, Halloween, anyone? This is like shoving your head into a carved pumpkin.
I'm glad you said that and not a Michael Myers bum or something like that.
No, it literally stunk of carved pumpkin to me. Like weird Halloween flashback. Apple Jolly Ranchers, coffee ice cream, and red apples.
On the nose.
Bobbing optional for banter. Yeah.
Right. I put plum jam, deep rich caramel, old dry walnuts, and rye vita on the nose. I love how wildly different our tasting notes are when we're doing them different times, not really even like paying attention to each other's tasting notes. It's so wildly different. What'd you get on the palate then?
Chocolate cake, Parma violets, olive oil, pork chops, and orange liqueur.
Oh my goodness me. Plum, rich caramel, licorice hint of malty tea, peanut skins. I thought it was very good as well. That only leaves one more other than the rum, doesn't it? So might as well do the last one. Go on then.
The Inch Gower. What did I do? Nose, strawberry sauce, melted chocolate, Scottish tablet, red apple. Decent.
Now, this was the Chateau Talbot Barrique, so I was very excited about this one. I put blackberry cassis, creme caramel dessert, gentle spice, violet, earthy.
Okay.
Just ever such a hint of earth in there. Palate. Go on. What did you get on the palate for that one?
Toffee sauce, rescued from the brink of burning.
Yes, burn.
Like a twat. Condensed milk, Brazil nuts. I then put it actually making my lips tingle because it was quite a high ABV. I think it was 57.1, but it really was a punch. Chocolate fudge cake, oak barrel char, and then a floral note I just couldn't pin down to anything. Right.
I put zingy, a little dry, burns tongue, lots of vanilla, maybe need some water to help, but then it calmed down. Oak, blackcurrant, opal fruits, orange oils, black tea, hint of coffee. And then on the finish, I said tobacco, a bit earthy, oak, burnt caramel, like you said. So we were closer on that one. Right?
What would you, if you were to buy of those four?
Yeah, good point. If I was going to buy one, honestly, it might have been the right. Look, listen, this always happens with these things because I don't drink good rum very often. Whenever I have good rum, I'm like, oh wow, I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed it. So I always get a bit overexcited by the rum these days. I think my favourite one was probably the Pinot Blanc. I scored that a 4 out of 5.
Okay,
that was the Pinot Blanc Royal Brackler.
Yeah,
and then otherwise, I think maybe the Sherry Butt North British because of that. People talk about memories. Was you going to say? Was it the same?
We got different tasting notes, but same result.
I honestly,
Brackler, North British.
It was like when I was working in South Korea and I go to one of these they have these little cozy tea shops in South Korea. In Seoul, you go along and whether it's in a mall or out in the street or whatever, and you go and you sit down and they usher you to the table, or you sit down and they come over, and all the tea tastes fairly similar, to be honest. It's all got bits floating in it, but it always has a bit of ginseng in there. And I felt, should I get a bottle of that? Just because that really reminded me of being in South Korea, the tea shops. And, there's lots of Korean barbecues in London, as you well know, Mike, but you can't get the Korean tea in quite the same way.
You remind me, it's almost like a Nickelback song. Or a Pickleback
song, yeah. Hey, but before we go on and discuss the Dalmore and indeed auction sins, what's been up your arse this week?
What has been at my arse? I'm trying to think if anything's really annoyed me.
There's always
I don't know if I told you. I've got a mains water leak under my drive.
You haven't told me about that, though.
Haven't told you about that. Southeast Water came out and said, you're a ridiculously high water bill. We'll send someone out. Oh, thanks very much. Really good customer services. Normally there's shit with leaks everywhere, but
it's ridiculously high.
They're on it. Well, I mean, I can't remember what she said. It was like 42 litres a day, which is like a bath and a bit, I guess. So it's a fair bit of water coming out.
So you're having like more than a bath every day?
Yeah, just tipping away, just for bants. And bear in mind, we had no water recently. And I've probably got 42 litres in my garage still from what I bought for the emergency.
Yeah.
Just what I'm throwing away every day, so it's fine. So, she came out and checked the mains, went, it's a leak. I went, okay. Well, it's under your drive. I went, right. She went, that's your responsibility. I'm like, okay. How do I fix that? I just get a plumber. She's like, no, you just probably better ring your house insurance. I'm like,
the phone just goes dead.
Oh, no, she was on my drive. She's on my drive.
Oh, she's on your drive.
Oh, yeah. And I went, okay, what I'll do, I'll fill out the paperwork and then serve legal notice because you've got 15 days to get it fixed. And I'm like, sorry? She went, 15 days just to get it sorted. And I was like, well, you can get fucked.
You didn't go to...
like, what? I went, you've cut me off from water last month. There's water leaks all the time. You're just letting them run down my street. You're not there within 15 days, are you? Let's be honest. And she was like, I said, I'm not having a go at you, but if anyone thinks they're going to fucking come to my house and try and tell me I'm not getting it fixed,
like how you said you had nothing to moan about and then you're just starting to get angry. What it is, you blocked it out of your mind how angry you got about that. Now... I couldn't have had that conversation because what would have happened was when I was standing on the drive and she said to me, the leak's under your drive, it's your problem. I immediately would have said something like, well, can't kind of there. That's where the bodies are buried, right?
I can't see it. How's it a problem?
It would have been completely awkward. And then that was really super weird. And then she wouldn't know how to follow up.
But this is how sinkhole happens. Yes. Water leaks, makes massive holes in my house. My house is going to sink into the ground is what I've established.
Do your neighbours know that basically you're responsible for subsidence in the local area?
Well, maybe.
Personally, you.
Potentially. I did say, because he's just had, because we've had, obviously, the drive dropped. He's just had a fence installed. He's done all his flower beds. And I'm like, it leads potentially through his drive onto mine. Yeah. So his drive might be getting dug up as well.
Can't you just shuffle it onto your neighbour? Well, how do they know it's specifically your water leak?
Because it's on my pipe. There's 3 meters in the street.
But surely the pipe leads through. I know this is super technical, but if the pipe has failed and they installed the pipe, just because it's under your thing, how is it your responsibility? I'm getting angry now.
Right? Because if it's from the street or from your mains thing into the street, it's theirs. If it's from the mains thing onto your property, it's your problem.
That's fascinating because where we are, they had to do some gas work and pipes or something like that in the grass outside in the front of where we are in the shed, the building area. And really, we should have just told them to jog on because it's our land. Yeah.
I mean, you don't want a gas explosion, though, so probably just better to leave it.
Yeah, they did say that at the time. They said, well, he's probably a risky...
Jog on, you dick! As he throws a cigar off the balcony. As Essex blows sky fucking high.
Okay, all right. So that's what's really annoying you. I've got something slightly more positive. Before I forget, I've cracked open this bottle of Glen Scotia single cask, which ties into auction sins. It is Campbelltown single malt Scotch whisky from Glen Scotia. It is specially bottled for Lochfine whiskies. First fill bourbon barrel, cask number 249, 55.7%, 8 years old, bottled in 2022.
8 years old.
45 quid an auction. And it says on the back,
nice.
Marzipan, candied ginger, sweet peach, bit of oak spice, non-peated. I'd say that's pretty much nailed on. It smells so much of peach and marzipan and vanilla and that sort of beautiful kind of coastal air you get from Glen Scotia. Fantastic. Now, what's been up my arse is we were at the local park and we were having a nice night out / afternoon for my wife's birthday.
Yep.
And I felt something nip at my ankle. That you just get a bite and you think, that's probably like an ant or something like that. The next day, I was sort of relatively okay. Might have gone out, had a few drinks. And the day after, I was enormously tired. And I was
hang on. Are you trying to blame this bite on your hangover?
No. It turns out, in this part of London, another reason not to live in London, there's something called like some sort of African spiders or African shadow spider or something random like that. So I had no idea about this, but the bite really hurt at the time. But I just thought, you really notice when you've been bitten. I thought, what on earth was that? And it oozed for over a week, Mike. And it had the spider circle bite on it.
So that goes, 2 dots?
Yeah, 2 dots, circle, right? And I knew nothing about this. A friend of ours was looking at my ankle because I was like, I think I got bitten by something. They're like, show me, has it got 2 dots? They're like, okay, that's a spider then. And then the circle. And I was like, okay. I think I sort of knew the circle. Anyway, it oozed, my ankle swelled up. And it turns out that in this part of London, particularly north, East London, South East London, these African spiders coming over here, stealing our parks, right? And then biting us, right?
Mate, it's a horrible experience.
It wasn't particularly pleasant. It wasn't. I have to be honest. It wasn't that bad. It's more just that it made me enormously tired for a day or so. Now,
I've told you my spider bite story. No,
have you?
Oh, I assume so. I've been bitten twice in the States. So once on the ankle, and then once on the hand. And my hand basically. So as I'm holding it to the camera now, if it's on video, see, my fingers met. There was no gap between them. So kind of like yours, but when their fingers were open, they were that swollen. They went like King Charles's hand, like little sausages.
Little sausage fingers.
So it was massive and like all stretched and bloated and horrible. That only lasted like a day max, then it went. But my ankle, the swelling started from the ankle and moved up to the point where
you got those old lady. You got those old lady. You know, you got like grandma legs.
And it went like, so my leg went like, at this time, obviously I'm like, big henge playing rugby, massive legs. So it went like big old thighs, kneecap, massive calf, perfectly straight line down to my foot. Like a fucking doner kebab.
I wish that had never gone, and then one of your nicknames could be grandma leg. It's like singular.
But it was minging because you could push it.
Yeah, it just goes
in. It would stay in.
Yeah, because it's water.
And it would take like ages to come back out.
Just fluid, right? Gross.
Yeah, painful. So I feel your pain.
Yeah, do you know what? You know, it was interesting. It was actually fascinating to have been bitten by a random African spider in a local park. So lesson learned: don't sit on the grass.
Yeah, cover up. Yeah. Cover up those ankles, you hussy.
Yeah. Do you know what? I always get bitten by like mosquitoes and stuff. So if we go and hang out with people in a mozzie area, let's say they get bitten twice, I'll get ripped apart like they're piling on me. I've got sweet blood and I sweat a lot. So
you're the worst Scottish person ever. Midges just be like after you all the time.
I'm like the latest Brave New Spirits release to them. They're just all over me. Yeah.
I want to try one of those. Have you seen the USB insect repellent things that you plug in and it creates like a zone around you? And I'm like, bullshit. But I've actually like looked at it. They seem all right. I'm going to get one. I'll let you know.
I prefer like just a mini nuclear bomb. Just.
Yeah. Although to be fair, Lara was taking the piss out of me last night because I sent you pictures just chilling out with a cigar on the decking out the back. Baby was asleep. It was the first like adult night I've had at home, just chilled in so fucking long.
The stuff you had an adult night at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Just doing nothing, sitting in the garden, the pair of us, just like, oh my God.
Oh, with Lara.
Yeah. With Lara, nice. Just on my own. Yeah. But she's like all relaxed, and all of a sudden you should hear as I got the electric tennis racket out, killing flies.
Yeah.
And we got a little light in the parasol, so it's just attracting them all. So it was nice and relaxed, and every like 10 seconds.
Yes, like, yeah.
She's like, I'm going in. You've ruined it. I was like, oh, bye.
When I went to a kitchen when I was younger, that was the first time I ever saw one of those electric fly swatters. And the level of power you feel when you got one is unreal. I mean, I can't imagine like if you want to taste what it's like to have a 9mm Beretta in your hand, just get one of those electric fly swatters, and you're getting onto the spectrum, I guess, of how it feels.
They
to be running around with an actual handgun.
Not far off the same feeling as having a little touch of a taser probe.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like same contraction of muscle.
Did you ever used to like when you were younger, like you'd like roll up a towel and try to flick the flies out of the air? Anyone did that? Yeah, of course. Now that's just making me think after what you said. Like, there would be some game trying to taser the flies out of the air.
That would be.
That would be so.
I mean, you kind of are with these tennis rackets.
But you're with your hand, it's a bit easier shooting a taser at it, isn't it?
Union Jack fly squatter racket thing. And it's like Rule Britannia as you take each one of these bastards out.
Send those French flies home. Okay, cool.
Exactly.
All right, so very nice. We've done Brave New Spirits. It was a lovely catch up. And again, thank you to Big Steve Rush, who, congratulations, is now marketing and communications director / future legend of Bimber Distillery. Right.
And Dunfail.
And Dunfail. Well, sometimes we struggle to remember people's exact job descriptions, but if in doubt, always just chuck in global into the title.
Global brand ambassador. Yeah. Extraordinaire.
That's
prestige.
And you will then be somewhere towards the actual job title. Okay, cool. So we were lucky enough to go out. Many thanks to the invite from Kieran from the Dalmore.
Kieran, Healy Rider.
Healy Rider. Is it Healy Rider?
Healy Rider.
Kieran, Healy Rider. I can't go over. Healy Rider. Is it the Dalmore or Dalmore? Let's settle that right now. I believe, is it the
Dalmore?
Okay, so the Dalmore.
The Dalmore.
The
is
Dalmore.
Probably more than the.
So I find this a fascinating subject. So we got to go along to an amazing event, which was hosted at the Gherkin.
What a venue.
What a venue. I've never been to the top of the Gherkin. I have now. It's 2 floors. And just beautiful place to host an event. Like,
do you know what? I didn't even when we were on that first floor and I was looking up, I didn't realise that there was a second floor. I thought it was separate entirely and it was just glass. It's only when I'd been up and then back down I was like, oh, we're in the peak of the Gherkin. I had no clue.
Yeah,
I just thought we were on a high floor.
So it's just, they timed it so in the evening, obviously, as the sun is coming down, so you can see the sun setting. You've got these spectacular views of London and the city.
34th floor, CSCs.
Very high up. Yeah.
Super cool.
They set up this incredible bar upstairs. Downstairs was an art gallery. Everyone was dressed up really nicely. They had little canapes going around. And of course, they had Dalmore 12 on serve, as well as some special 1821. I believe the Luminary 3 was there as well.
Yep.
So they were doling out some kind of, some jams for people to try in between. Do you remember what was in those cocktails? Now, I'm pretty sure you looked at the menu.
The cocktail was Dalmore 12. The coolest ice cubes going. Like, it had the Dalmore, big square ice cubes with the Dalmore sort of like stamped into it. And what I would say, though, is clearly I'm a mixologist because I improved that cocktail almost instantly by chucking another fucking Dalmore 12 on top.
But because we were so caught up in the moment, I didn't realise that in every one of those cocktails, you will want to take back what you said, Mike.
Go on.
I love that you've said that.
What?
He only hung himself. So it was the Dalmore 12 served neat, and in the cocktail they were made, it was the Luminary number 3 signature serve cocktail. So they put the Luminary 3 in the cocktail.
No, hang
on, no they didn't. No, they called it. Yes, they did.
A few moments later.
Oh no, okay, it was the Dalmore 12.
Look at you're looking at a picture. What is it saying?
Because the title says the Luminary number 3 signature serve cocktail, but actually it was the Dalmore 12 in it, then the Luminary number 3 cordial, so made a special cordial.
Okay.
And then the vanilla bitters. And you were right. What Mike did was, because we hadn't had enough units, was come over with our glasses, and just pour another shot of Dalmore 12 in. And he was right. It made it sing.
It really did.
If you had you could have 1 or 2, but if you wanted to have a few more, and then let's just say maybe we knew some people that did, then maybe you might want to mix it down with a bit more whiskey, right?
I'm pointing somewhere there.
So I was trying to think. They had this beautiful band. It was a really special event. I wanted to sort of transition this a bit to make it a bit less about the event, which was incredible, and a bit more about what's been my learned opinion of the Dalmore. Because people will be listening to this and they'll go, oh, yes, but the Dalmore. Yeah, they'll go, oh, shit. It isn't, though. That's the thing. What I find is that the core expressions on high-end whiskey distilleries, so the likes of, by the way, whilst we're doing this, Mike's going to look up Luminary number 3 and look up the details of it so we can discuss it a bit, because we've obviously tried it. But what I find is, having done like these tastings and tried Dalmores across the range, whether it's the cigar malt, the 12, the 18, the 21, some of the higher end cask strength or batch strength stuff, the lower expressions can often be kind of 43%, right? And so actually they can be very, very, very good. But generally the entry stuff to your well-versed whiskey drinker will seem like maybe it's not as good as you're expecting because it's a premium brand. But when you go up towards the higher end stuff, which again, admittedly is very expensive, it's incredibly well put together. So I've never had, I think we prefer the 18 to the 21. That was our
opinion. 100%. Tried it. I was like, too spicy, not for me, too much wood. Yeah. 18 all day long.
18 all day long. But if you think about what was the tasting we did again through Tweet Tastings, and we tried, I think, which one was it there? It was
their sort of
cask strength, wasn't
single
it?
cask series, wasn't it?
Oh, but that was really excellent. I mean, really, really excellent.
Yeah.
And I think the Luminary number 2 and the Luminary number 3 are really good as well. And so maybe we're caught up in the moment, but I do think of all the Dalmores I've tried, say I've tried 9 or 10 now in the last, 6 months. I think I've really enjoyed 7 or 8 of them, like a lot, right?
Yeah. I think it's always when you get to go to something like this, you are automatically you're like, for fuck's sake, I really hope the whiskey's good, because it's going to be awkward where I just give absolute tasting notes and no emotion, because you're like, yeah, it was all right. This is what I'm tasting. It's fine. But we were both like, that's actually nice. I don't know why we were surprised, but it did feel like we were like, oh, thank God for that.
Well, no, I went in with a positive attitude, because having done all these Dalmore tastings recently, I sort of come to that kind of opinion. Whereas I think, like, again, some of the entry level expressions maybe are priced quite highly for the whiskey. But as you go even more expensive, yes, they're expensive. It's a high end luxury brand. I mean, the whole event was full of high end influencers, to be honest. And Mike and I. We also met...
we looked like the taxi drivers that dropped some people off to the event.
We did meet Glassmates and a few other lovely people.
Yes, we did.
And we should shout out
CJ.
CJ, Single Malt Vault. So at Single Malt.
Susan, Whiskey Lates.
Whiskey Lates. Glassmates. Also, so Anne-Marie from Distillery, who's a tour host and has been for 12 years.
So cool.
So cool, so lovely. Also, she had some fantastic stories about traveling and doing like tours of Mamma Mia and all that kind of stuff. She's very much into drama. And also there was Matteo, right, from the distillery as well. It was lovely host and very chatty, lovely guy. So top evening, I can't say you can really, it's pretty hard to beat top of the Gherkin or top of the Shard, that kind of stuff, isn't it, really, for a bit of a party.
It really is. Like location-wise, unfriggin' believable.
Music, atmosphere, sun setting down, the whole cocktail bar. I mean, that's how you do an event, right?
The cask makeup, by the way, just quickly, 7 different casks.
This is for Luminary number 3,
For Luminary number 3. Calvados, Rare, Matasulum Sherry, Apostle Sherry, select red wine cask from Bordeaux, Chateauneuf de Pape, and American White Oak.
So it's really blended carefully as a single malt, right?
Yeah. I think it was Greg Glass, Richard Patterson combo for this one.
Right.
And it was bloody stunning. Like, it really was. It went well with the surroundings of the evening, should we say.
I think people need to separate it out. That's the thing, is this is whiskey which is being positioned absolutely as a premium end product. And so if you're not in that market, if you don't have that budget, don't worry about it. Forget about it. There's plenty of other options. You listen to the podcast. But if you are somebody who is who is tuning into the brand of the Dalmore, and I've met lots of people that are tuned into the brand of the Dalmore in my life every day. But not just Goldstein, but like there are plenty of people. And if you are tuned into that, and brand does matter to people, they make some really great whiskey for people that want to spend a bit more money, who don't just want the whiskey, they want the brand association. They want the
stag's head.
They want the stag's head, and they want to be able to say they're drinking the Dalmore. And, why not, right?
I mean, to be fair to it, it is 17 years old, which, again, for Dalmore puts it right up there in price.
What is the cost of Luminary number 3, though, Mike?
£299.
Look, versus Macallan, it sounds cheap as chips, right?
Yeah.
But increasingly, what you'll hear is, like, when you go to the kind of high-end area of the market, it's like Macallan, Dalmore, and then... I mean, Tamdhu's trying to go in that direction. Glendronach as well.
It's the same price as the 18, pretty much.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Really good whiskey. Do you want to just... What are the kind of tasty notes that are coming out of the Luminary number 3 there?
I can't fucking tell you what mine were. Just really, really good, I think.
What does it say online about it? Ring some bells there.
I brought up some photos because I was taking... Do you remember the little table? I did a video. Honey, biscuit, vanilla, toasted brioche, raisin, dark chocolate, coffee, tartatan, apricot, red apple, black currant, red licorice, cedar woods, forest fruits, and just lovely.
Can't argue with it at all.
But again, like you said, some people drive Golfs, some people drive Jaguar sports cars, some people drive McLaren F1s. And everyone's got a different budget.
Some people, when they're on the way back from a fancy thing like that, stop off at the local kebab shop and get themselves a giant chicken and lamb wrap with spicy sauce, all cabbage and onion.
Other people sensibly light a cigar and chill, walk home, don't even eat it at the last train.
I had a cigar as I walked to the Ned. I was absolutely fine. I was in London Central Line.
You swapped it for a kebab.
I had both. I smoked.
Oh, mate, the cigar. I nearly forgot. What a tit I am.
What did you do?
A tit. I mean, in a good way. I literally, so as we were leaving, I pulled out a cigar, gave you one, your birthday, lit it up. And a chap came through, dressed not too dissimilar to me and Duncan. He's like, oh, what are you smoking? And I was like, oh, Zeno. And he's like giggling.
That's
and
called a Zika, but Zeno, that's right.
Turns out his name, not the fucking virus, his name is Roy Sommer. I didn't know who Roy was, but Roy is, I think, the head importer for Davidoff UK.
Right.
So he's like, yeah, I know it's a good cigar. I import them. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, yeah, I got them from duty free. He went, no, I import them. And I was like, oh, he's like, yeah, I work for Davidoff. And I'm like, oh, I'm telling the fucking guy who works for Davidoff that these are good cigars. And he was chuckling away. And he went, there you go. Well, there's the two to replace the ones you've just lit, so you can have them. Yeah.
He passed me one as well. Yeah, good guy.
Lovely chap. But again, what I would do was swing back to, we obviously mentioned budgets different. Summer tasting, this Luminary is bang on summer. So if we quickly take a quick trip to Gareth's Corner.
Gareth Whisky Corner. So Gareth's Corner is where we discuss a sensibly priced sub £50 whiskey that we think we would recommend you to have. Given the fact that we're in May, pretty hot at the moment. Yep. What are we thinking, Mike?
We threw a few ideas around.
By the way, this is one for people who, you have to remember, if you listen to this podcast, by the way, thank you very much for listening to the podcast or watching this video. There's a range of people that listen to it. We've got people who don't know that much about whiskey, but we've also got people who know tons about whiskey, are really long in the tooth.
And everything in between.
And everything in between. So this is for people who don't know so much about whiskey. What we would say is if you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh, why didn't they say this? Hit us up, message us. We'll shout you out.
Let us know. Get a convo going. We love discussion. And everyone gets involved. You'll wake up to 400 fucking messages on X like I normally do when Duncan.
Put your trousers back on and send us a message. All right.
But yeah, we've settled this week on Arran 10, the Sunshine Dram.
Arran 10, banger. I mean, I was particularly excited when I got 2 bottles for £10 a pop of the 2015.
Oh, bastard. I'm still angry at that. I mean, I'm happy for you. Super happy for you.
Chef's kiss. But aside from that, it's always a good whiskey. 46%.
£42 currently on Amazon. It does go cheaper, so keep an eye out.
You get it for 35, 36, even 34 if you're lucky. Okay.
And sort of one of Duncan's caveats was, as we went into this one particular, because it's so hot today and just muggy and close, he's like, I want a mix of sherry and bourbs, if not all bourbs. But the Arran 10, weirdly, I got the info from Amazon, is a mix of first fill bourbon, so all your vanilla notes, and then first fill and refill sherry hogsheads. More bourbon barrels than anything else, so more fruity and vanilla-y.
Bit of that coastal element as well, I think.
Yeah. Just a lovely, lovely dram. So if you are looking to buy a bottle early on in your career, just want a good value one.
Listen.
It's a career, mate. It's a career.
It's only a career if you get paid. And I'm telling you won't get paid. You'll be paying out. But okay, sure, call it a career.
Maybe in 2 years you'll earn a tenner. Highly recommend Arran 10 for Gareth's Corner.
Yeah, absolutely. And also we should say is, we won't talk about these ones again, but the stalwarts that we've talked about on the podcast, be the likes of Eagle Rare 10, Inchmuir in 12. So,
Siren Bay when it's on offer.
Yeah, it's not on
offer. In fact, I recommended Siren Bay to the Gareth.
The Gareth.
Yeah. Because it was on offer again at Master and Vault, and he picked one up and loved it. So, we'll try and we're more up to speed with editing and stuff now, so we should be a bit more up to date. So if there's something on offer we're talking about, hopefully it's still on offer.
Yeah, there was a time when we get them out 3 days after doing it. But that just simply with kids and work and everything, it's not possible. So anyway, if you like the podcast, thank you very much for listening. Be so kind, if you haven't already, to give us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify or any other podcast platform that you listen to us on. If you are short of t-shirts at the moment, have a look at our t-shirt shop. There's not much in there, but we will do a couple more designs for summer. Yeah. Okay. And thirdly, if you would like to treat us to a dram to say thank you very much, then you can do so by going to buyuscoffee.com/honest to a malt.
Thank you very much. And again, thank you for those that have already donated on that one. If you want to check out the website for us, it's honesttoamalt.com, and we are on all social medias at honesttoamalt. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye. Neckets.
Dalmore, shout out Kieran. Shout out Marie. Shout out Mateo. Hold on, player. Yo, let's get straight in.
Who's going up? Lift the Cersei's. Dalmore got me at 34. The sunset floor, no doubt, barely put it down. Luminary, classmates to rat race. For once we showed grace. Sunset views at the Gherkin, but we're not working and we're not shirking. Still talking about flavor with the homies Dalmore and Haytam.
You Luminary, no doubt. It's on, it's out. Luminary, no doubt. It's on, it's out. Luminary, no doubt. It's on.